Well, hello everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome. Appreciate everybody being here. And listen, there was a last minute change in Joe's schedule, so he's not going to be here this morning. So you're stuck with just me here. So there it is. Appreciate everybody being here. We'll go say hi to the chat in a second here, but just wanted to again let you know that it's going to be just me and we are on with it. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk about Laurence Lepard. We're going to actually listen to him talk about just buy Bitcoin. Don't do anything else. You'll be rich. Just buy Bitcoin. And then we're going to listen to the Wicked Witch. If you saw my video, from the ECB, who's talking about, yeah, don't worry, man. We made nobody's going to go in the EU and put Bitcoin in a reserve until they did. Just saying, we're going to go and talk about that. We're going to go talk the debt and the Doge, as always, more of the debt because, man, it's just climbing and climbing and climbing. We're going to talk about Cleanspark and how they had to borrow some money to survive this whole mining shakeout thing. We're going to take a look at a quick video from Mark Moss, who's talking about, listen, the Fed just put a liquidity crisis in motion. So we're going to listen to him explain that, and we're going to go from there. Let's take a quick second to go ahead and say hey to everybody in the chat. Actually, let me, there we go. Let's bring that up so everybody can see the chat. We got Tech Man in the house saying, hey, from the casino. Man, you're always at the casino. I love it. Go, man, you go. And of course, Automatic Beats, appreciate you being here as always. He's saying, yes, lurking from the gym, appreciate that. Zek to 10K. Well, listen, I don't know about that. Zek has seen a bit of a pullback, and honestly, that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. It's just, privacy coins have got their place. That's all I'm going to say. They really do, and they're going to be huge moving forward, especially excuse me, if you are into or in the EU and listening to all this bullshit that's going on over there. So appreciate everybody. And we got a bunch of people jumping in. Let's see who we got here. Mr. Ethereum in the house. Welcome, sir. And of course, little Caspa. And yeah, I know it's still in, listen, no shade on Zcash at all. I like Zcash overall. I don't honestly hold any, but I like Zcash. Yeah, no shade. I don't know if we're gonna hit that 10K in this cycle though. Just saying. My opinion. What the holy hell do I know? Old guy, interwebs. You know the drill. All right, let's get into it here a little bit. And let's start with Laurence Lepard. We're gonna listen to him talk about this again. Basically, listen, man, just hang on to your Bitcoin. You're good. It's good. It's good. That was the main crux with the thumbnail here. So let's give him a listen.
It's kind of ironic that the simplest and best way to get rich is to do goddamn nothing. Seriously, you just buy Bitcoin and forget about it. Just go live your life. Like my friend George Bodine, go paint paintings, go work out, go do whatever, your God-given talents tell you should be doing, knowing that your future economic well-being is in the most secure, growing network in the world. And it'll always be there. And every year you come back to it and you'll say, gosh, that's nice. I'm wealthier now. The change in mindset that occurs once you really fully understand this, it's really amazing. You just get relaxed. You feel good. I no longer worry about, can I retire? I no longer worry about, am I going to have enough money? It's just not something I worry about. And I think it's unusual. I think most people live their lives with a certain amount of just financial and economic stress, where their money is something that's always weighing on them. They're scared about it. They're concerned about it. And that's no way to live your life. It's kind of ironic that the simplest and best way to
it's looping now. So yeah, I agree, man. I agree. It's just, man, how, because again, you guys know I do DCA every Friday night, crypto on the rocks, and I put that aside for my grandchildren again with that long-term mentality that hopefully that they are not going to need to suffer and worry and be like all about having to figure out what the hell am I going to do when this whole fiat fandango just kind of crashes down on them and around them. Let's be honest. But again, you can't go wrong, in my opinion, DCAing into Bitcoin. Can't go wrong doing it. Yes, Automatic Beats has it right. Buy Bitcoin and go work out. Facts. You need to get that work on it, folks. Need to get that work on it, and gotta be healthy. All right, we're gonna move on because I like to hit a lot of the Bitcoin specific news first. You guys know normally Joe would go into the charts, but again, for those who are just kind of jumping on in here, Joe had a last minute change in his schedule. He messaged me last night. He's like, man, I'm not gonna make it. So no worries, man. Appreciate Joe. Love Joe. Link to his channel as always in the description. If you're not following him, you know you need to do that. But let's move on. And now, if you haven't seen the clip I did with regard to Christine Lagarde, who is the president of the ECB, European Central Bank, I'm sorry. This woman is just evil, in my opinion. For what it's worth. But if I was in England right now, I'd be getting arrested for saying that. But that's a whole nother story and part of the problem overall. Just saying. But I love how she gives this statement right here. Like, yeah, I've talked to the head of the Czech central bank, and I don't see any Bitcoin gonna be in anybody's reserves. And then boom, the Czech central bank dropped some Bitcoin in their reserves. Yeah, solo CCM, exactly, like the old days. Exactly. I mean, it's kind of funny you say that, Automatic Beats. I'm thinking I might change things up a little bit. So I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen with that. But yes, just like the old days. Absolutely. All right. So let's give her a listen here, and then we can laugh at her. How's that sound?
And as a result, I'm confident that reserves will not enter, that Bitcoins will not enter the reserves of any of the central banks of the General Council. I had a good conversation with my colleague from the Czech Republic, and I leave it to him to make whatever announcement he wants to make, but I'm confident that he's convinced, as we all are, of the necessity to have liquid, secure, and safe reserves. Thank you. And as a result,
let's stop that. And then, like I said, and here you go, Czech central bank added $1 million worth of BTC to its reserves. Bam, there it is. These people don't even agree with each other. Let's be completely honest. And honestly, given what's been going on over in Europe and the ECB in particular, where they're rolling out digital IDs and all this kind of stuff, my God, why would you not have the ability to have some kind of freedom money at your possession so you can do what it is you need to do? But here we go. It's not just the ECB. This guy from Luxembourg, let me bring that screen up right now, was the keynote speaker here. And he was the keynote speaker because they've decided that they're going to add Bitcoin. My goodness, it just keeps going. This is about 2 minutes long. I don't know that we're going to actually listen to that whole thing, but the front part where he explains what's going on. So let's give this a quick listen.
I believe that crypto, and in particular Bitcoin, are part of the solution. Make no mistake, even among political leaders in Europe, more and more study Bitcoin. As US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent recently noted, 17 years after the white paper, the Bitcoin network is still operational and more resilient than ever. Bitcoin never shuts down. I realize that I was invited here because Luxembourg's Intergenerational Sovereign Wealth Fund was the first in Europe to invest in Bitcoin.
And so there you go. I'm going to just stop it right there. You get the point. So basically, again, even all of these countries, entities that are all surrounded around the ECB and let's be honest, completely being influenced by the ECB, by the WEF, all these entities, I'll use my air quotes for that, these entities with regard to that, man. And they're basically taking it down and going, yeah, I think we're gonna just take a little bit of Bitcoin anyway because, why not? Right? Yeah, exactly. Automatic beats. It is BTC has been. Even when you pull it back, how many like year over year? Most years we've seen an increase in the price year over year, right? I mean, you can count the number of years on one, I think there were like 2, 3, in the entirety of the life of Bitcoin, where the price was actually lower one year over the other. And look how long until just recently we were solidly above 100K, like 4 months plus, solidly over 100K. Now, I know we're not there now. I know we're teetering right below that. And I know, oh, he was talking about the network hash rate. Also true. Didn't go down that road, but you are correct. You are correct. Thank you for clarifying that. Yes, and the price. I look at it more from the price because I don't mind Bitcoin. I was going to do a solo mining thing, but I've swapped that up. Hopefully there'll be a video coming out about that soon, but not to get completely off track with regard to that. So yeah, bottom line is right now, Bitcoin adoption just increasing like a millionfold. Let's be honest. And if you're in the EU, you probably want to consider that and or other freedom cryptos. All right, let's reset things here a little bit. We're going to take a look at the Fear and Greed Index. We're going to take a look at the debt. We're going to compare it to when I was live last. And then we're going to take a look at where we are currently. And then we're going to get into all this other stuff, such as Cleanspark. We're going to talk about the partnership with the UFC and Polymarket. We're going to, again, take a look at that Mark Moss video talking about the Fed. We're also going to talk about Google basically spying on you. I mean, that should be nothing new for anybody who's been here in the space for a while. I mean, come on. That's a no-brainer. You know they are. They just are. All right, let's bring up the Fear and Greed Index. Oh, and before we go on to that, for those of you who are watching me, especially on a TV, you can see this QR code right here. This QR code will, I love the fact that I can put these up here now. And it's great. This particular one will take you to all of my social outlets. So if you're not sure where else beside YouTube to find me, click on that right there, the QR code, and it will take you to my coin tree, which will give you all my official social medias. I'm going to leave that up there for the majority of this live stream here. But let's go take a look at the Fear and Greed Index. And man, are we in some fear. Now, we've been down here before. It's not, I mean, I think the last time was about 3 years ago. And okay, but like, holy cannoli, it just gives you an idea how fearful the cryptocurrency market is at right now as a whole. Crazy, crazy fear going on right now. And I can see a bunch of people starting to jump in, must be coming over from Piper Academy. Appreciate all of that. Hey, Steve Hickey in the house. Appreciate you being here, man. Thank you. And yeah, you know, automatic beats. I appreciate the fact that you put that in there. I did not include that here with today's stream, but yes, you've got Steak and Shake looking to go down to El Salvador. It only makes sense. Steak and Shake has been like all in with regard to Bitcoin and so on. So wow, have them go on down there and just do it, right? It makes complete sense. And you know what? We got a whole bunch of people jumping on in here. Let me go just say hey to everybody. All set in the house. Appreciate you being here. Dave Digital, huge supporter of this channel. Appreciate you being here. Again, Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. I missed the last one. I felt bad. I just had too many grandkids in the house to sit there and be able to actually listen to the Simple Terms podcast, but much appreciated. Holy cannoli, can you still find the like button? I think it's moved. YouTube has been changing a lot of stuff up, man. A lot of stuff. And there we go. Nightbot getting activated here in the chat. Appreciate all you guys. Yeah. All right, I think I got everybody that's kind of jumping on in here. Appreciate everybody coming over from Piper Academy. Piper, thank you for sending everybody over here, and appreciate all of you. We're going to keep going with what we got right now. We're going to go take a look at the debt and compare it to when I was live. Now, last Monday, I was not live. Oh, and just for clarification, Joe had a last minute change in his schedule, so he's not here this morning. He messaged me last night, was like, I can't make it. So no problem. You got me. We're going to go through the debt right now. Now, again, I wasn't live last Monday because I was still traveling back home from being on the road. But when I was last live 2 weeks ago, here is what the debt was at that time. 38,147,000,000,000. And at that time, like just gaining momentum by leaps and bounds. Now, here is the live debt clock. 38,206,000,000,000. Now, remember, this is a 2-week span. And don't get me wrong, I don't like the fact that it's just growing by such leaps and bounds. However, it's down. At one point, we were up to over $100 billion, just like getting tacked on this. And that was while the government was shut down. But let's not go down that particular road. Speaking of which, we're going to talk a little bit more about the government shutdown tonight with BC Pork Corp and Crypto Bedell at 7 p.m. Eastern time for this week's HODL line. So make sure you're checking in for that at 7 p.m. Eastern time tonight. We got some good information for you. We're going to talk through that and maybe even a couple of other crypto things. I'm still working on pulling some of that together. But anyway, basically, as you can see, this right here, 38,206,000,000,000. You're talking about just let's say $60 billion in 2 weeks. So back down to where it was for the longest time in that $29 to $30 billion range. So, I mean, I guess if I've got to deal with that, I'd rather deal with it being in that range than any other range. All right, let's clip through some of these news items. We're making some seriously good progress here today. We're about halfway through already. But let's bring this up and we'll keep chatting along here. So here's one of them. The EU, again, very, very much with the iron fist, not only on the crypto space and social media and everything else, but to that end, with regard to crypto, Aave just secured a MiCA approved license. So basically, they are good to go now in the EU. And it says here their push fiat to crypto service will offer zero-fee stablecoin ramps for those in the EU. Now, I love Aave. It's in full disclosure, been a while since I've actually used Aave, but definitely love that platform. Matter of fact, you use Aave? Tell me in the chat. Put a yes in the chat. I'll be interested to see if you actually use Aave currently. But let's clip on to the next piece of news while you're putting that information in the chat. Visa tests stablecoin payouts. Now, Joe and I have reported on this now for the past, I don't even know, few months. And we've seen different Visa, MasterCard, all these people looking to get into the stablecoin game. And here we go. Visa has launched a pilot to allow businesses. Now, again, this is meant to be businesses, and it says to pay freelancers. Now, I don't know that that's the only thing that they're going to be able to pay with this, because that would make no sense. That's a very narrow field, in my opinion. But anyway, to allow businesses to pay freelancer creators and gig workers directly in stablecoins. And I think that's great. And the fact that if and for these freelance and gig workers, man, why would you not want to get paid in stablecoins? Then you put it where you want to put it, right? I mean, that only makes sense to me. And let's see. Hodl the line. We used to do that in the 80s. Oh, Dave Digital. I love Dave Digital. Did someone say Ave? Andy is in the house. Appreciate you being here. You're just lurking out there, weren't you? Yes, I did say Ave. And I know you are definitely a proponent, as she says right here. Yes, of Ave. And there you go. There you go. And they got some yeses piling in here. Appreciate all of that. Luna was a stable coin. Just saying. Yeah. True. But we all know about that. All right. Let's keep moving on to move on. I thought this was interesting because of the last few weeks, we've seen how many people trying to get involved. And when I say people, I'm talking the World Liberty Financial with the Trumps, crypto.com, Gemini, most recently, I believe, and all looking to get into these prediction markets, either with partnerships with Polymarket or to run in competition to Polymarket. Here we go. We got the UFC basically creating their next partnership. And again, to me, it's just more adoption. That's all this is. The UFC announced exclusive partnership with crypto prediction platform Polymarket. Huge news, if you ask me. So again, I love Polymarket. I love trying to go. I'm not gonna lie. I don't generally go in there and place my bets with regard to what's going on, but I do like to see what the prevailing wisdom is of like the masses with regard to these different things. I'm not gonna lie, it was something I really did keep track of during the 2024 presidential election. It was quite interesting. But let's keep moving on to Kraken in this case. And now their CEO or co-CEO, it says here, has basically said that the exchange is financially strong and doesn't need to force an IPO listing. Now, okay, I'm glad to hear that. And they've got a lot of things going on Kraken. I mean, let's be honest, and have for a long time. Kraken is definitely a good exchange. It's not one I use all the time. I don't, if you do, let me know. But definitely not one I look at all and use all the time, but I like the way they're building things out. I think they started well with building that out, getting their banking license in Wyoming and so on and so forth. And now they're considering doing an IPO. I'm not gonna lie, I'm surprised that it's taken this long for them to get to this point. I would have thought, why not get it like way back when? But then again, I said that about Gemini, who just announced that, what, 3-4 weeks ago now. Yeah, I would expect these major US exchanges to be looking to IPO. It only makes sense to me. And what's this? I don't bet on Polymarket, but yes, fun to look at what. Yes, exactly. I mean, I don't know. People are putting their money where their mouth is. So you gotta, or I would like to believe that it's probably a little more predictive than you get like, and especially let's say within that 2024 election cycle where you had, you know, the typical mainstream media outlets going and doing their polls, and I'm using my air quotes here again, using their polls. But yet you're seeing some deviation with regard to that over on Polymarket. So I get why these groups, these exchanges, again, not a fan of them being integrated into exchanges. However, I get why they're leaning in that direction. UFC in the middle of gambling controversy and partners in gambling. So, okay, there you go. But I don't know. It makes sense. UFC Polymarket makes some kind of sense to me. Army Piper himself in the house, dropping those graduation caps. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you sending everybody over here. And it was great seeing Tradefly on your show today. And let's see, automatically saying NBA in trouble with gambling as well. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's just like, kind of like our government. The corruption is everywhere. It just is, just varying levels of corruption as we go around here. Okay, let's keep going now. Again, for those who are just kind of jumping in, I can see we got another small group kind of jumping in right now. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. Don't forget, smack up the like, share this thing out. I appreciate everybody for doing that. And listen, this QR code right here, if you're watching me, if you're not sure where to find me, you scan that QR code. It'll take you to my Cointree. For those who aren't familiar with Cointree, it was, I think, Linktree, but built by Naomi Brockwell with privacy in mind, that allows me to give you all of my official social medias and potential tip addresses without actually having to put my addresses out there for different crypto. So if you're not familiar with it, you should check it out. Naomi Brockwell put that out my goodness, probably about 5 years ago. And I've been using it since it came out. So yes, hashtag solo CCM. Yeah, back at the solo thing, man. Back at it. And but so there's that. And now we're going to talk Cleanspark in a minute. We're going to hit a couple of other security related items. And then we're going to listen to the Mark Moss video where he's saying that the fled. Oh boy. And I ain't even been drinking. Okay, I lie. I've been drinking tea. Crypto Princess would be proud. I'm actually been taking a spot of tea today instead of coffee. I haven't been feeling too hot lately, so I thought, why not a little bit of tea? Anyway, so there it is. Let's get into the Cleanspark thing. Now, this was something I actually talked about the middle end of last week on, I want to say it was Matrix Money podcast, where we talked a little bit about this with Crypto Jar. Matter of fact, speaking of that, tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern time, don't miss the Matrix Money podcast. We're going to be talking with Dr. Jay Corzan. He is a chiropractor in New Hampshire who has been trying for almost 2 years to integrate cryptocurrency as a payment rail into his chiropractic business. I met him in New Hampshire in 2024 at the conference I was at, and helped him to set up a couple of wallets and got him at least on track to be able to take in the crypto that way if he wished to do so. But I thought it would be interesting to actually listen to his journey, look at it from the struggles of a brick and mortar business with regard to trying to integrate crypto payments. So if you are around, please make sure you're joining in the Matrix Money podcast tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, let's get on to this. I'm not going to lie. I mean, we all know that mining has been something that is not always necessarily profitable, right? If you don't have good energy costs, for example, you're not profitable. In this case, this whole mining provider here, Cleanspark, and I like their business model with regard to utilizing clean energy to go ahead and mine Bitcoin, right? But they had to borrow $1.15 billion to survive, basically. So I'm going to read through a little bit of this, and then we'll move on here. Cleanspark just sold $1.15 billion of zero coupon convertible notes to buy more power and machines in the most brutal mining environment yet. A deal with a 144A private placement due in 2032. So basically, much like Michael Saylor doesn't have to worry about a lot of that premium stuff he's got going until 2028, if memory serves. These guys don't have to technically worry about this until 2032. But basically, with an initial conversion price of around $9.16, roughly a 27.5% premium to the $15.03 stock price at the time of the writing of this article. Whoops, let's get that out of there. I hate those pop-ups when they show up. Approximately $460 million is allocated directly to repurchasing Cleanspark shares from note buyers, with the remainder used to expand power and land portfolios. Basically to build data center infrastructures, including AI and high performance computing capacity, etc. Now that's something we've seen a lot of move and swap to, right? The move to AI. We know AI is going to be needing some serious power as it expands, and it's obviously going to expand. Ain't no putting that genie back in the bottle. And as a matter of fact, I should have done that. I didn't think about it. If you go to my channel, I did an entire from that conference. They were talking about Bitcoin mining helping to stabilize the power grid, but they also talked there about the need for AI power consumption, and that contrast and conflicting needs with regard to both of those. So go ahead and check that out. I think you'll find it quite interesting. But let's move on a little bit before we get to Mark Moss and then wrap this thing up, because we're almost done already. Appreciate everybody being here. Again, if you haven't already smacked up that like, you know the drill, man. Smack it up. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. All right, here we go. Wait, got to hit the right button and then we can go. There it is. There it is. Now, we were just talking about the whole digital ID thing over in Europe and how like they're getting serious pushback about that. Matter of fact, I did an entire section and separate video on that. And as one other thing, I am doing a members only live stream that's focusing on that and what's going on in the EU. Right now, that members only live stream is scheduled for December 4th. So just over 2 weeks from today, 7 p.m. Eastern time. If you're a channel member, make sure you're tuning in for that, for some good conversation and let's just say some pointed opinions. Anyway, so Apple launches digital ID in the US. And now, okay, it's not they're launching digital ID. They're launching this platform to use your passports to get through like the TSA, etc. But basically, it allows users, like I just explained, to add IDs like passports to their Apple Wallet and use them at TSA checkpoints in over 250 airports worldwide. I'm sorry, domestically. My bad. And I don't know that I'm a fan. I mean, I get why they're doing it. Getting through the TSA, even in and of itself, and especially while the government was shut down, pain in the ass. Let's just be honest. It's funny. I was talking. My daughter was traveling during that, and she, what was going on with her flight? It was crazy. That's why I ended up not going live Monday. My travel was delayed, waiting to go pick her up from the airport because her flight got delayed because of TSA. But again, TMI, you probably don't want to know any of that, right? Jesse is in the house. If you're a channel member, Jesse emojis in the chat. Appreciate you being here, Jesse. But anyway, so I get why, I get the inclination and why people might even want to be able to just scan their passport, let's say, with this option from Apple. However, I don't know. Not a fan of this kind of thing. One other piece, security related item I want to bring up here. Now, I mean, we know that Google, I'm sorry, they read your emails, they scan everything, they know what you're doing. It's just what it is. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sitting here preaching about it, but I use Google too. I try to keep the most sensitive stuff, honestly, in Proton Mail. That's just what I do to try and keep it encrypted and accessed by me. But I do need, in order to interact with different sites and different creators, to use Google. So I get it. But Google has now admitted that they will tap into users' personal data within Gmail and the Drive. I mean, if you, and I do use documents in their Drive, that's how I share, like when I'm doing my educational series for new people, a lot of that, excuse me, a lot of that information that I compile, that I put together with reference links and all that kind of stuff, that's all done in Gmail on the Drive. That's on the Drive. So, because again, most people have Gmail. Anyway, they're going to use that personal data in order for their upcoming AI search to be more helpful. I just, my God, and that's part of what I don't like about this latest update here. with regard to help me, Windows, they got the AI built in. Now, again, I realize AI genie not going back in the bottle. Get it, understand. Ultimately, I don't want it back in the bottle per se, but I also don't want it in my system scanning everything I'm doing. I want to be able to choose when and how to use an AI. Sorry, just what it is. And the fact that they're going to, in this last instance that we just reported, they're going to have their AI training on my Gmail, on my documents. No, not cool, man. Not cool. And yes, exactly, Automatic Beats. Proton Mail for the win. Yeah, Jesse, go get dinner, man. I get it. I appreciate you even stopping in, smashing that like button, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Much appreciated. All right, now I've got 3 more things. Now, the last 2 I thought would be funny to, yes, Dave Digital hit it on the head right here. Ready Player One. Exactly. So we're going to listen to Mark Moss as he puts up his argument as to what is going on with the government, with the Fed, and how he thinks that has and will open the floodgates with regard to QE and QT. But I'll let him speak. I'm trying not to put words in his mouth. But right after that, we're going to look at 2 other things that I think are government related. Honestly, nothing to do with crypto, but I thought they were interesting. We're going to look at how businesses are basically farming out functions now, like just to avoid stuff like rising minimum wages in these states that just like are out of control. New York, California. Sorry. Anyway, so we're going to take a quick look at that. And of course, I know you've heard by now, and if you're in this space for any length of time, hell, I've talked about it, I don't know, a couple of months ago when they ordered the last set of blanks for pennies. Pennies are gone, man. They're going by the way of the dinosaur. And I thought it was funny because like everywhere I've gone in the last like week, that's all I hear. Oh, save your pennies because they're going to be worth something because they ain't doing no more. Anyway, but I thought that would be a good way to round this out. All right, let's bring up Mark Moss here. And we're going to let him chat about what he thinks with the printing that's coming. The Fed is just opening up the floodgates. So let's give him a quick listen. About 2 minutes.
Central banks always choose inflation over deflation. Always protect the financial system over price stability. Now, Ben Bernanke said it explicitly in 2002, quote, "The U.S. government has a printing press that allows it to produce as many dollars as it wishes at essentially no cost," end quote. That's the Fed's nightmare, deflation and collapse. But inflation, they can create that on command. Now, the track record, of course, proves this. 2008, QE. 2012, Draghi's, quote, whatever it takes program. 2020, 9 emergency programs and massive QE. And now, well, they're ending QT on December 1st. Powell already said that the Fed, quote, will need to expand the balance sheet again. Lori Logan said that they'll need to, quote, begin buying assets. So they told you what's coming, right? They'll print. Maybe they'll call it something else. Maybe they'll call, liquidity operations, or they'll call it not QE, but whatever you want to call it, money is going to be created. And so if you're holding dollars in a savings account, you're about to get diluted. If you hold assets, stocks, real estate, and Bitcoin, anything with real value or scarce supply, you've at least got a chance to keep pace with the printing press. But this isn't neutral, right? QE creates winners and it creates losers. The top 10% own over 2/3 of the nation's wealth. They own 80% of the stocks. So when the Fed pumps asset prices, they benefit. But savers, they get left behind. Right. And then the wealth gap, it widens, right? This is the data. This is the pattern. And it's about to repeat. So the only question that you should be asking yourself is, which side of the line are you going to be on, right? If we stack all this up, the Fed drained liquidity while the government spent like it's still in a crisis. That triggered a funding crisis. Stopping QT just freezes the problem, but it doesn't actually fix it. And when they restart QE, which is what they're doing now, it's not going to be like the 2010s. You're going to see both asset inflation and consumer price inflation at the same time.
We're already seeing that. All right. So you get what he was saying here. And to the point that he made in the very beginning, as he was talking about, it's their nightmare if like things are deflationary. Well, here's the thing. If the Fed didn't exist, things would be deflationary. Prices would go down because the technology would force them to go down. It's what it should be. The innovations we're making should be bringing prices down. Now, we know that that's not happening because the Fed is hoovering all that up and then adding more to it, which is making prices rise. But in theory, it should work just the opposite. And sadly, to be honest, for the most part, people just they don't understand inflation. They don't understand our money system. And, that kind of thing does not make sense to them. It just doesn't. And that's by design. Let's be completely honest. Okay, guys, I got two more things and then we're going to wrap up and head on out of here. Appreciate all of you being here today. Again, if you haven't already done it, you know the drill. Smack up that like button. If you need to find all of my locations on social media outlets right here, scan that QR code. Appreciate that. All right, let's go. Bam. We're going to take a look at this. Now, again, not related, to crypto, but in my opinion, related to what we just heard from Mark Moss to some degree. You've got multiple restaurants in New York City finding a way around their latest hike and paying of minimum wage. They're hiring virtual cashiers from the Philippines, that work via Zoom. They can only pay them $3.25 an hour, and they are cashing people out. As you can see here, I'll run the video. I actually will turn down the volume because you don't need to hear that. You can kind of see what's going on right here. My God. And I love the fact that they're saying, and they're still asking for 18% tips on orders. What? I don't know about you. I've talked about it a couple of times when we've talked similar things to this, but like, man, I hate when I'm going there, pick a place. It doesn't matter what restaurant. Not that I eat out often, but when I do, I'm cashing out and they're like, oh, add a tip? Why? Why am I going to add a tip? I had to come to you. You didn't deliver it to me. Okay, you made the food. That's your job. You're being paid to do that. Oh, that just cranks my chain right there. Anyway, but personally, I think this right here is even going to be short-lived because they're using people over in the Philippines to do this, right? And again, if you need a virtual assistant, definitely got intelligent people over there that'll do the job for like pennies on the proverbial dollar. But I think this is going to go and be completely like upended by AI. AI is going to come in, do this job, probably do it better with less of a gap in the language. And especially from, we know you get some of those people on, you call tech support and you get some people you can't even understand. It is what it is. All right. And then the last piece, I thought we would end up on this particular note right here. The last piece that I wanted to just point out, again, it's been in the making since Trump came into office. But now here we go. The last penny has been minted at the US Mint after 232 years. I mean, again, like I've reported previously, it cost, I believe it was 3.7 cents to make a penny. Hello? What the hell? Why would you do it? So it makes sense to me that they would discontinue the minting of pennies. I just thought it would be interesting to go ahead and have this as a kind of rounding item here, because I've heard so much talk just from, and I say that I'm talking by normies, using my air quotes there, who are just like, oh my God, they're stopping the penny. And I've heard both sides of it. Most people, when they understand that it costs almost 4 cents to make 1 cent, they kind of get it. But there are some that are out there. This is all Trump's fault, blah, blah, blah. The TDS is strong with some people. It just is. Let's see. In my opinion, Dave Digital saying, tipping is a privilege and I embrace it. The benefits outweigh the downside. Listen, I got no issue. If that's your thing, man, I get it. And I suppose if maybe I was there doing that, I'd appreciate the tips too. I don't know. Maybe again, might be my age thing. I wasn't raised with that. Somebody does a service for you. I mean, they're being paid for that service. So outside of that service, like your waitress brings it to the table, super. Tip away, baby. They deliver you the food, tip away. Makes sense. You know, they're providing that additional level of service. That's just my opinion. I get it. People don't, they're right to it. And maybe that makes you better than me, Dave Digital. Just saying. Techman saying the food places rip off workers at $2.50 an hour. They should make minimum wage minimum. I get what you're saying. Had to stop and process the way that was written there. I'm not tipping an AI robot. Yeah, me either, brother. Me either. I understand. And you're right. Some of those people, but that's usually the waitresses that are making that money, not necessarily the people who are processing, who are cooking the food, that kind of thing. Just saying. And what's this last piece right here? Make a penny worth a penny and keep it. There you go. Yeah, that ain't happening, obviously. But yeah, penny, done, gone. See you later, alligator. All right, so that's it for today's show. Appreciate everybody being in here and sticking around. Dave Digital with the super chat, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. You are like so supportive. Yeah, it's not even right. $5 super chat saying they give you great content. Tip away. There you go. There it is. Thank you, Automatic Beats. Much appreciated. Yes. Let me give you the wrap up for the rest of the week as I know it at this moment, because a couple of days are still a little bit in flux for me. Basically, my plan is to be live tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be talking the government shutdown, job numbers, that kind of thing. Myself, BC Pork Corp, and Crypto Bedell, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So if you are around, make sure you're checking us out for that. And then tomorrow night, again, Matrix Money Podcast. Myself, Crypto Jar, are going to be live with Dr. Jay Corzan, chiropractor out of New Hampshire, and we're going to talk to him about his journey with trying to integrate crypto payments into his brick and mortar business. If you own a brick and mortar business, this might be of interest to you, and you might be able to even help him out. Who knows? So come on in, join the conversation. That's tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Wednesday, 11 a.m. is the day that's a little bit in flux right now. I'll keep you in the loop with regard to that. And then, of course, Friday night, we're back at it. Crypto on the Rocks this Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So much appreciated. And Steve, thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate you. And that's going to do it, everybody. So I'm heading out. Thanks for being here. And obviously, Joe is not live at noon, so no bonus stream today. So we're not going to be forwarding you anywhere at this point, I don't think, because I don't see anybody that I really want to go and head you off to. So, all right. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Take care.